What's up, guys? Poke Heat here. You're about to watch me open some 3-pack blisters, 3 of them, and then a Pokemon Center ETB and a regular ETB. You tell me which one you think is best. But right now I'm going to tell you a crazy true crime story about Belle Gunness. Now, this lady, I'm pretty sure someone out there, if you're a true crime fan, has heard of this woman. But basically, she was murdering around 1884 to 1908. I know you're like, whoa, that's super long ago. But this is a crazy story that I don't think you guys are ready for, okay? So let's talk about Belle. Belle was born in Selbu, Norway, to parents whose names I'm not going to even try to pronounce because it's just going to be disrespectful. But Belle grew up, and as she got older, she grew to be 5'9" and over 200 pounds, okay? So she was a big brick house of a woman, okay? Let me tell you. Now, when she was in Norway, this is an unconfirmed report, but I kind of feel like this might be where some things started for her in the killing world. So basically, she became pregnant. Now, this is unconfirmed, but she became pregnant at 18, and she was at a party where a man kicked her in the stomach. I don't know what the hell happened to inspire somebody to kick somebody else in the stomach. Maybe it was the man who got her pregnant. I don't know. But the man died later after Belle miscarried, died later of stomach cancer. Now remember, this is the 1800s, so they really were not technologically advanced with medicine. But the symptoms of said stomach cancer are also the same symptoms of arsenic poisoning. Isn't that crazy? Put a pin in that. So she moves to America, and in 1884, she married a man named Mads in Chicago. 2 years later, they opened a candy store, which is a little weird because this is Belle. Yeah, I don't know that I'd buy candy from her, and apparently other people felt the same way because it was not successful. Cut to a little while after, her house and the candy store burned down. Her and Mads, and it mysteriously burned down, okay? Her and Mads collect the insurance money, and they bought a new home. Then boom, 4 kids later, 2 of them died as infants from acute colitis, which symptoms of that are nausea, diarrhea, fever, cramping. Same thing as poisoning, okay? Remember, 1900s, we don't really have a lot of medical advances, so I'm pretty sure that she poisoned them. Anyway, so they also had insurance claims on both those infants. They collect that money on both kids after they died. So they basically were like, who's our favorite? Who isn't our favorite? These 2 gotta go. Collect the money. During that time, it also says that they adopted a 10-year-old girl. How? I have no funky idea. So, okay. So on July 30th, 1900, Mads dies. Do you know what's important about this day, July 30th, 1900? It was the one day that both of his insurance policies, so this man had 2 life insurance policies, they both overlapped. Meaning, Belle would get money from both insurance policies. So my girl was planning. She was planning and plotting. So a doctor saw him and thought that it was strychnine poisoning that he died of. So it was a random doctor, I'm assuming, when he wasn't feeling good or whatever the case may be, right before he died. But the family doctor is like, nah, I was treating him for an enlarged heart, so that's 100% what it was. So because that family doctor said it was an enlarged heart, nothing ever came of it. They didn't do like any toxicology or autopsy or anything like that. Now, Mads' family was like, nah, chill. Belle killed him for the insurance money. But nothing ever came of it, and Belle was given $8,500, which is $1,500. Today, that would be $240,000 that my girl freaking got because she decided to kill her husband on the day that both them insurance policies overlapped. So, surprise, surprise, though, with that money, she buys a farm, and she moves to LaPorte, Indiana. Now, in Indiana, that farmland had a boat and a carriage house, which, guess what, guys? It burned down mysteriously as well. So she obviously collected insurance off that. My girl had insurance on everything. Like, look out, she had insurance on the dog, the hogs, whatever. All right, so after she moves there, okay, she gets reacquainted with Peter Gunness. He was a butcher, okay? Put a pin in that. They marry April 1902. 1 week after the ceremony, though, Peter's infant daughter that I'm assuming he had with the woman before Belle dies of mysterious causes while alone with Belle. Now, I am not a math wizard, but 1 + 1 = 2. Belle killed him. Anyway. So, yeah. Then in December, 9 months later, okay, this is 9 months after the baby died, after they got married, Peter dies. Belle claims it was a tragic accident where a sausage grinder machine, okay, here's the sausage grinder machine, fell off a high shelf. Now, if my man was a butcher for years, why is he putting a heavy sausage grinder up high on a shelf? What? Apparently, when the coroner looked at the body, he was like, nah, chill, this is murder. But then, nothing came of it. They investigated her, and she basically smooth talked her way out of it. Then her daughter goes to school and is like, oh yeah, my mom, Belle, hit her husband, because that's not her dad, hit her husband in the head with a cleaver. A cleaver, y'all. So again, investigated. Belle smooth talk her way out of that one. Straight moonwalked out of it like Michael Jackson. And they were like, okay, yeah, we believe her. So horrible, okay? So 1 year later, Peter's brother, who's a real one, took the eldest daughter, that was Peter's daughter, not Belle's, out of the house. Thank God, okay? Because when I tell you later what happens, she lucky. So the death of Peter got her $3,000, which is about $81,000 today. Okay, so no one believed that he died by accident either, right? Another coroner looked at the case and was like, nah, chill, she murdered him. He brought it to like a coroner's jury, which I've never heard of, but hey, whatever, this is 1900s. And they were like, yeah, that's murder. They investigated, and Belle's like, no, I would never. I'm just a silly woman. I would never do that. So anyway, but she did it, y'all, whatever. So then turns out Belle was pregnant during that time. So she gives birth to son Philip. I can't tell you if it's Mad's kids or Peter's kid or not, but I'm assuming. So then we cut to 1906. No idea what Belle was doing during that time, but here we are. Belle tells people that her foster child, who is obviously now a little bit older, like 16, 17 possibly, went away to college because no one saw her. So she was like, oh yeah, nah, she went to college. Jenny was her name. Yeah, Jenny went to college. Okay. 1907, she employed a farmhand, Ray. Rumors were spreading that they were more than just employer. And most of that came from Ray, who was at the bar like, oh, yeah, I'm sleeping with her. And everybody was like, wait, hold on. You sleeping with Belle, the burly woman who wears overalls and is a butcher? I mean, look at Ray. He's no catch either, so people need to calm down, okay? Stop coming for Belle. Well, actually, no, come for Belle. She's a murderer. Anyway. So Ray wasn't enough for her, okay? So she began looking for more suitors, okay? Now, this is before, obviously, like Bumble, Hinge. She didn't have a Hinge profile, but she did have the newspaper and put this ad in it. So I'd also like to think this was also her Hinge profile or Tinder profile bio. So it says, personal, comely woman who owns a large farm in one of the finest districts in LaPorte County, Indiana, desires to make the acquaintance of a gentleman equally well provided, with view of joining fortunes. No replies by letter considered, unless sender is willing to follow answer with a personal visit. Triflers not need apply. My girl was not playing. She said, either you coming to see me with this money, or you ain't getting nothing, okay? So homegirl was not playing. So after that, several men, okay, they read that and they were like, no, scrub. Okay, so literally they said, I ain't no trifler, I ain't no scrub. They applied, which is crazy how they put it. But Belle would deck herself out, like brand new clothes, brand new hair, like who this? Okay, she was brand new. To the point where people in the town were like, who the hell is that? That's Belle, that burly, Comely, what the hell, Belle? Yeah, it was Belle. So one of the men came from Minnesota with $1,000 to pay off her mortgage, okay? Belle told everyone, right? This man was last seen at a bank taking out this money to pay her mortgage, okay? Belle told everybody that that was her cousin, and then he disappeared. She played him, okay? So after that, there was another guy, right? And his name was George. George is the only smart one here. George basically said, I'll pay your mortgage if we decide to get married. So he came and stayed, and then one night, he wakes up to scary burly Belle standing over him with a candle in her hand. And this man screams because he said there was murder in her eye, and he felt like this was it. He was about to get murdered, okay? So he screams. She runs out the room. Then this man leaves all his possessions that he brought with him behind and runs out the door, leaving everything behind, never went back. That was it. He got the fuck out of there, right? He was not playing. So shout out to George, right? So George leaves. More suitors come, but none of them leave, okay? Belle begins ordering large trunks. So trunks, like huge trunks that you would use for storage, right? And all of a sudden, people notice that her blinds are always closed day and night, and that she keeps to herself, right? So one guy even signed away all his worldly possessions and took out several $1,000s. And guess what? He disappeared. They even found a letter that she had wrote to him. And at the very end, she says, come prepared to stay forever. Girl, Belle, you are sick. So this man's sons had no idea where he went, but they found, I guess, via the letters that he went to Belle's with all his money and all their money that they were going to inherit. So they contact Belle and they're like, yo, Belle, where's the daddy? She's like, nah, he left, I never saw him, he never came. And then that was it, right? So, y'all, Ray is still around. He fell in love with Belle. And in 1908, after meeting one of her many, many suitors, okay, Belle got around, he caused a whole scene. He spazzed out. He said, that's my woman. Freaked out, right? So then Belle's like, you're fired. You're done. Get out. He leaves. But then Belle goes to the court and is like, he's insane. I need you guys to understand this man is insane, okay? So they have a sanity hearing, never heard of that either. And they're like, nah, he's sane. So then she goes and complains again and is like, he came to my property, he was talking, so he gets arrested for trespassing. That still doesn't stop this man. She had him arrested, y'all, and he goes back multiple times, okay? He does not care at all. And he even tells somebody that he helped kill that last suitor that he caused a scene in front of, okay? And mind you, he disappeared, y'all. So that guy's brother that died, caused a scene, all that, contacts Belle and is like, where's my brother? She goes, oh, he left. I think he went to Norway to visit like a family or something. And he was literally like, no, he didn't. She's like, well, if you want, you can come here and I can help you look for him, but you're gonna have to pay me. My girl was trying to kill him and take his money too. So, Belle then gets a lawyer, right? So everything's just building up, right? Belle gets a lawyer, says that Ray made some life-threatening claims to her and whatnot, her and her children. So she made a will, but she never went to the police. Interesting, after she was just running back and forth between them. So in April 1908, she hires a new farmhand, Joe, okay? So Joe wakes up in the middle of the night in April 21st, 1908, to the smell of smoke. He opens the door and everything is engulfed in flames. So this man, he's on the second floor. He leaps out the window to get away from it. He barely survives, runs down the road to go get help. By the time they come back, there is nothing left. Okay, nothing left at all. So they dig through there. They find the body of 3 small children and then a headless body that they were assuming was Belle. But this body was 5'3" and 125 pounds. Where did I start off with this? She is 5'9", 200 pounds. So at first they were like, oh, the fire shrank the bodies. No, ma'am. No, they did not, because the kids' bodies were just the same. So they start digging because, like I mentioned before, the body is headless, and they find teeth. So they use dental records and everything like that, and they're like, yup, it's Belle. Nobody believes it, right? So they start digging more in that area, and they find 8 bodies mixed in with men's watches, wallets, all that, right? So then they go to the hog hole, and they find sliced up, like precisely sliced up pieces of bodies, right? Remember, Peter was a butcher. And I'm assuming taught Belle that because she used to butcher her own hogs, okay? So, cut to, they find all these bodies. It turns out to be 40 bodies. Some of them were found, and obviously they were all suitors. Some of them were women. One of them was poor Ginny, the adopted daughter. She never went to college. Belle killed her, y'all. So, cut to a few years later, Ray, who got arrested for arson but acquitted for murder because they couldn't prove it was Belle without a doubt. He, before he died, tells a reverend the whole story. He just confesses. He basically says that he never killed anyone himself, but he helped Belle get rid of the bodies. And basically, Belle would bring them, she would kill them, she would either poison them or go into their room at night with chloroform and knock them out, kill them, bring them to the basement, chop them up, then put them in the ground, okay, and put lime over it and all that, and that helps with the decomposition, unfortunately. And then when she got real lazy, she would just take up those chopped up pieces of the men and feed them to the hogs. He also says that this whole fire and death was planned, that he was supposed to pick up Belle that night that the fire started down the road a little bit. So she hired a maid right before this fire, who was 5'3" and 125 pounds, kills her, chops off her head, puts weights on it, dumps it in a swamp. Belle takes her false teeth out and puts it next to the body because she's like, now they can identify me, right? This lady thought of everything. So instead of meeting Ray, homegirl just dips off into the woods, leaves him there, high and dry. So Ray dies after telling that confession, but no one can find Belle. And essentially, there was reports up until 1931 that people saw her. Y'all, homegirl got away with murder, okay? She got away with murder. In 2007, they tried to dig up that body, the headless body, to prove that it was Belle or not, and they couldn't because there was no DNA to compare it to. So we still don't know what happened to Belle. Now, there was a woman in 1931 who was arrested for poisoning her male suitor. Interesting. For his money. She died, though, while waiting to go on trial. So what do you guys think? Do you think Belle got away and she lived out her life for another 30 years after murdering 40 people? I don't know. You tell me. And also tell me what you guys think of these boxes. Which one do you think is better? I'm going to probably go with the one where I got this beauty. So let me know. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.